A good Erev Shabbos. What a beautiful day and week as we just come from Thanksgiving. Then we go straight into Shabbos. And from Shabbos we go straight into Hanukkah, the festival of lights, of warmth, Thanksgiving, gratitude, Shabbos, Hanukkah. What a beautiful time. And I was thinking, because in this week's Torah portion, we read the story about Joseph and how Joseph was sold by his brothers into slavery. And then once he was sold into slavery, he was sold to Egypt, where he became in command of the second in power in Egypt. And how later he was thrown into prison because he was accused of seducing the wife of his master, which was untrue. And there in prison, he sees these two people, the butler and the baker of Pharaoh. And they look down, and he says to them, why are you so down? Why do you look downtrodden? Why do you look sad? And of course they tell him about their dreams, and he interprets the dreams. And later on, they're the ones who remind Pharaoh when Pharaoh has his dreams that we know someone who interprets dreams. And Joseph gets let out of prison. And the rabbis tell us, imagine Joseph is in prison. He was sold into slavery by his brothers. His own family wasn't looking for him, didn't care about him. He was accused of things he never did. And there he goes, and he's in prison. The last thing you would think Joseph's going to do is going to ask someone, why are you down? Why does he care about someone else? And then secondly, what does he expect? The guys are in prison. What does he expect them to be dancing? Yet because he asked that question, because he cared, because he saw someone down, he was able to lift their spirits. And because of that, he was remembered by Pharaoh and taken out of prison. You know, when you think about gratitude, you think about all the people that we see through our lives, through our days, that make our days run the way they should. Do we ever look at them and say, how are you doing? How's your day been? I'm sure you all heard of the story about Charles Plum, who became a world-renowned speaker and author. And he authored a book called Who Packed Your Parachute? And the story goes that he was an Air Force pilot in the Vietnam War. And he flew 75 missions over Vietnam before he was shot down. Over Vietnam. And when his plane was shot down, he got onto his parachute and he landed in enemy territory. And he was a POW in Vietnam for 6 years. Imagine, it wasn't easy. But he survived and he came back to America and he got married and he had a family. And one day he's sitting with his wife in the restaurant and this guy comes over to him and says, you're Plum, you're Charles Plum. He says, yeah. He says, you ran missions over Vietnam. He says, yeah. He says, you flew planes off of the Kitty Hawk, off of that ship. He says, yes. He says, how do you know? He says, what do you mean, how do I know? I was the sailor on that boat, on that ship, Kitty Hawk. I packed your parachute. And Charles Plum is shocked. And he gasps. And the guy looks at him with a laugh and slaps him on the back. And he says, I must have done a good job. Eh? And Charles Plum says, of course, you did a good job. If not, I wouldn't be here today. And he said that night he came home and he couldn't sleep all night. He kept on thinking, how many times did I pass this guy? He was just a sailor with his white bell-bottomed and pants and his hat. How many times did I pass him every day and I probably didn't even say good morning. I didn't say hi to him. Yet this man was responsible for saving my life. He might have packed my parachute without me even knowing. But that's what made me survive and be here today. And he said from then, when he went out in public speaking, he always looked at the crowd and he said, who packed your parachute? If you go through your day, think about your Thanksgiving for a second. Think about all the things that happened, all the people that had an impact on you being there. The people who packed every parachute of your day, every detail. Do you recognize them? Do you look at them? Do you notice them? You know, yesterday we gave out 100 plus Thanksgiving dinners, delicious gourmet dinners catered by Andrew. And thank you to all our sponsors. And then at the end, we had a few left over. And I told Gordon at 6 o'clock, I drove down to the police station, to the fire department. Everyone was home having dinners with all their friends and family and saying stories and singing songs and being grateful. Or they were watching the football game. And these guys were sitting in the fire station, in the police station. And I brought them fresh, hot meals, Thanksgiving meals. And they were so grateful, not because they couldn't get them themselves, but it was because someone thought about the people that were packing their parachute. How many people were on call last night for us to have the most beautiful Thanksgiving? So my friends, as we go from Thanksgiving, the holiday of gratitude, thank you to Hashem, we go to the holiday of Hanukkah, which is Yehuda the Maccabee. Yehuda means gratitude, a holiday of light, of increasing in light and joy. And we pause right in the middle of these two holidays for Shabbos, the time when we block out all the distractions and we focus every week on the blessings that Hashem has given us. Look, we're ready for Shabbos here. So I pray to God that each and every one of us should recognize and appreciate and celebrate the people in our lives who pack our parachutes. And may God give us to always have reasons to have gratitude and to celebrate. Shabbat Shalom, happy Hanukkah, happy Thanksgiving, or happy Thanksgiving, whatever you want to say, but may it be a beautiful Shabbos for each and every one of us. Good Shabbos.